Good afternoon. Welcome to Rivers Edge Homestead. Today we're going to talk about how to wire up a trailer. Okay, in this case, my utility trailer is ready for wiring, and so today's project is let's get this thing wired up and ready to be pulled or ready for the decking to be put on. Now, if you're going to wire up a utility trailer, you're going to need a minimum of 4 wires. Okay, now the standard for trailer wiring is you have a white, a brown, a green, and a yellow. In my case, I've got a blue also, but I'll explain that later. So if you kind of look at it, the white is always going to be ground. The brown is taillights. The green is right-hand turn signal. And the yellow is left-hand turn signal. That's pretty much the standard I see all the time. Maybe there's some differences, but in my case, that's what I'm running with. Now, I have a blue wire also. Blue wire is for backup lights. Okay. If you've ever backed up a trailer, this one here is 10 feet long, and if you back it up in the middle of the night with no street lights or anything, it gets rather difficult to put that trailer where you want it. So in this case, I'm going to put the wires in for backup lights, and I'm going to add backup lights to the trailer at a little later date here. The intent is just get this trailer running. So when you're looking at wiring a trailer, there's 2 options that are usually available. If you have a truck, they'll have both options. If you had a car where you added wiring, you may only have one option. In this case, the most basic wiring harness that you'll get in a vehicle is a 4-pin flat wire. Okay, as you can kind of see here, there's 3 male pins and a female. The female goes to the white, and you see 2 browns. You'll see a yellow and a green. Okay, and then when they go back down here, they pair off. You'll see a brown with a yellow and a brown with a green. So you know that the browns are taillights and the green and the yellow are your turn signals. So that's pretty much the standard that you'll get on a 4-pin flat. Okay, pretty much the standard you'll see on all trailers under 3,500 pounds. Once you hit into 3,500 pound axles, you start getting into electric brakes and some other stuff. And when you get into that, you need to go to a 7-pin round. Okay, now the back of my truck has this connector also, 7-pin round. This is the one I prefer to use, mostly because it gives me more options. Okay, now like the 4-pin, it has tail lights, it has right and left signals, but the center pin of this is backup lights. It'll have another pin for auxiliary, and it'll have a ground pin, and it will have a electric brake pin on it also. So that's what you need if you're going to be running electric brakes. I want the backup light availability, so I'm going to a 7-pin. And again, the back of my truck has both 4 and 7-pin connectors. Now to work with these, if it doesn't jump right out at you, you're going to see this little set screw right here. You have to back that out. Don't lose it, but you back it out till it'll let you pop this out. And this is basically what it looks like and what you're wiring to. When you get this unit, again, they're all standard because every vehicle is pretty much wired the same. Otherwise, you'd have to sit there and figure it all out. So it usually comes with a piece of paper in the package that looks like this. And that piece of paper will tell you the pin out of what exactly you're going to, which pin does what, whether it's tail light, whether it's right or left turn signals, aux, or backup. Usually the center pin is always backup. But again, these are pretty much standard for every trailer. So to tackle this project, you're going to need a few tools. Okay, you're going to need some black tape. You're going to need some way to fasten the wires to the side rails. Some people run it through the tube. I'm not going to, so you need something like this that can put the wires in, clamp down with a screw, and hold it in place. Okay, you're going to need a screwdriver of some sort, probably a drill. Drill some holes if there's not enough holes to get that in the back of your trailer. You're going to need something to strip the wires with. You're going to need some butt splices to connect the lights to the wiring that you have. Okay. And you're going to need a crimper for those butt splices. So this is basically the tools I'm going to use today to get the job done. Depending on if I use self-drilling or self-tapping screws, I may use a socket, or I may use the Robertson tip just to connect these things onto the frame. So pretty basic tools. I'll also talk about tape here a little bit. This is a 99-cent tape roll. Get them just about everywhere you go. Oh, that's black tape. That works fine. But what you'll find with this cheap tape is that once it gets cold, it doesn't stick very well, and it's very brittle. So my recommendation is what you do with this cheap black tape, you throw it away. It's no good for nothing. So you go out and you buy 3M tape. I think it's called Triple M. It's good for cold weather. It stays nice and sticky. It's very malleable. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't get brittle, doesn't get hard. It's easier to work with. It can be used in cold weather. So always spend a little more on your tape. This is $3 a roll versus $1 a roll, but believe me, it makes a difference when you're taping stuff together. Anyway, so that's the first part of doing this job, and I'll touch base a little later and show you the finished product. Anyway, you have a good afternoon, and this is River's Edge Homestead.